Well, good morning, Vlad. That's right. He will be at a bond hearing today. We expect prosecutors to ask that he be held without bond as the legal proceedings continue. But, there are growing questions about why the suspect was ever allowed to even own a gun. Highland Park, Illinois police had two previous encounters with murder suspect Robert Crimo III back in 2019. 3 years before he allegedly opened fire at the 4th of July parade Monday. That spring, officers responded a week after a reported suicide attempt, and again in September when a family member told police the suspect had a collection of knives and threatened to kill everyone.
The police removed 16 knives, a dagger, and a sword from Crimo's home. At that time, there was no probable cause to arrest. There were arrests.
The family did not press charges. Officers did notify state police of the incident, but months later, the suspect was allowed to obtain a state firearms owner's ID card, and police say began assembling an arsenal of 5 legally purchased firearms, including the high-powered rifle similar to an AR-15 used in Monday's shooting. After the 2019 incidents, the suspect's father signed a consent form allowing his son to buy at least one gun.
I think the parents are stunned and shocked.
Attorney Steve Greenberg is representing the suspect's parents.
Shortly after the police removed the knives from the home, they returned all of the knives. So they didn't see anything that in their expertise, their professional opinion, raised a red flag at all.
Investigators are still looking for a motive after they say the 21-year-old fired more than 70 rounds into the crowd. Crimo then allegedly dropped his rifle and took off, blending in disguised by wearing women's clothes. Investigators believe the suspect then walked to his mother's house and took her car before driving to neighboring Wisconsin and then back to Illinois, where he was stopped by police. Officers say another rifle was in the car when he was arrested. Those who survived the deadly rampage, like Steve Tilkin, are now calling for change.
There has to be some kind of system where you coordinate all this information, all these concerns into a central database. Something has to change.
Illinois does have a red flag law that would allow firearms to be taken from someone in crisis. However, remember, in 2019, the suspect didn't own any firearms, the family didn't pursue charges, and he had no further contacts with law enforcement. Now, as for that firearm identification card system, a local law enforcement source explained to me last night that there is no mechanism inside that system to flag somebody who is not currently in the system or has an application pending. So while the state police who runs that system was flagged that there was this issue, this concern about a clear and present danger in 2019, because he wasn't in the system or in the queue, that warning essentially got put to the wayside. Emery and Vlad?
So, Kris, I guess the question that I think is going to be on a lot of people's minds, what can we expect at the suspect's court appearance today?
Well, this will be a bond hearing. We understand that he is expected to appear virtually. Probably won't be a long hearing, and we may not hear much from the suspect. We do understand that he has been talking with police, but still not clear what a motive may have been. So, this will be a pretty standard first appearance by all accounts, and one of many to come. So, probably no a big bombshell moments or any sort of real insight that's going to come out of this court hearing. We expect prosecutors to seek that he be held without bond pending further trial.
I think we're all asking ourselves sort of similar questions about this suspect. What was his upbringing like? You pointed out that obviously there were some issues just a few years ago. I understand the lawyer for the suspect's parents, actually a family friend, has known the family for a long time. Did he have any insight?
Well, yeah, so the parent, he told us that the parents they thought their son was eccentric, that he liked music, he liked art, wasn't interested in going to college, but that they didn't see red flags. Now, whether they were aware of some of the social media posts, certainly they were aware that he owned a firearm. The father did sign a consent form to allow him to buy one. The lawyers said it wasn't clear if the family knew that he owned 5 firearms and had assault style or a high-powered rifle similar to an AR-15. In fact, the lawyer said the parents support an assault weapon ban. So unclear how well, unclear, if the parents understood the level of armaments that their son was amassing. But at this point, it sounds, at least from their attorney, that they thought that they found their son to be eccentric, but not a threat. The lawyer also disputed the police account that there was an attempted suicide attempt or a reported suicide attempt back in 2019. But police say that was the first call of service in the spring of 2019, that they were following up on the report of a suicide attempt.
Well, I bet you those parents are asking themselves a lot of questions now.
Yeah.
Kris, thank you.
Sure thing.